Prince Andrew today has apparently been at it again as he tries to make his right royal comeback. The King's brother, this is extraordinary, has now reportedly launched a shock bid to regain his £3 million a year armed security. And, check this, the former Home Secretary Priti Patel allegedly supports the plan before having to backtrack and issue Charles a grovelling apology. Meanwhile, also, royal news, Prince Harry is also set to return to the UK on the eve of the Queen's death on the 7th of September, of course, last year, before heading off to the Invictus Games 48 hours later. We're not quite sure why he's coming, because apparently he's not going to see his dad or his brother, so we're not quite sure about that. Joining me to discuss this, fantastic, love speaking to her, the lady herself, live in LA, Kinsey Schofield, host of the Die For Daily podcast. Hi, Kins, how are you?
Hi, Jeremy. I think he's going to attend the Well Child charity event that he was scheduled to attend last year but didn't because of the Queen's passing.
That was very professional of you. Can we start, please, with Prince Andrew? Deluded as ever, believing that he can get back his £3 million private royal security deal when this country is on its backside. And Priti Patel made a pretty big mistake because it only took a few hours for her to backtrack.
The audacity.
Yeah.
I mean, this man is, public relations-wise, seen as a piranha. And like I said, I don't know what happened with Virginia, but it's guilt by association when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein. And he's not a favorite. I mean, I think he polls lower than Prince Harry and Meghan Markle in some instances. You know, and again, he's become somewhat we see Sasquatch, Jeremy, more than we see Prince Andrew. He hides behind castle walls at this point in time. So why on earth does he think that he needs this type of security? It's beyond me.
It's just entitlement. Let's move to our favourite subject. Harry, you've been very, supportive, I think, and quite diplomatic there, saying he's coming over for some... Where is she? Why isn't she with him? Is it true? Is the relationship on the royal rocks?
I don't know how they could deny it at this point. Jeremy, I just want to take you back to the late great Megxit, when they told us that they were going to leave the royal family but pursue a life of service, and that was together that they were doing that. But Harry's the only one we're seeing hitting up all of the charity events, running over to Japan, coming over for Well Child. Meghan Markle is in California taking selfies, you know, in the beautiful California summer sun, and apparently going to launch a wellness website, whatever that's supposed to look like, coming up in perhaps October. It does seem like they're going in completely different directions, and I don't know how sustainable that is in a relationship that we've seen so tight in the past.
I'd love to bring MG in on this. Outside sources probably done a poll on this. You can split the screen for me. MG, what's your view in Washington of Harry and Meghan? Do you give a damn at all, to be fair?
You know, it's funny. Americans talk about the royals. We're kind of stunned by them. I will tell you the Prince Andrew story is just total creep out. I say forget the security, drop him on Epstein Island, give him a couple of coconuts and a knife and see how long he can make it. I mean, there's no sympathy for him at all. And the Epstein story continues to roil over because, you know, the list of the people that flew on his plane, the list of the people in the Black Book have not been released yet. And there are people, particularly Republicans, because they think there are a lot of Democrat names on in that book who want to see more information. And anytime that story comes up, it's not a good day for Prince Andrew.
Very interesting, both of you. And also, by the way, just very quickly, the King and Queen, their state visit to France, which was going to happen earlier in the year, September, it's now happening. They've announced the day at Buckingham Palace. They cancelled it before because of widespread rioting, but they're going back there now, to that war-torn country where all the immigrants come over to England from. Comments on that, Kins?
I mean, I'm just looking forward to actually seeing them out and about. I feel like we haven't seen them out and about much, and I'm looking to see basically what that looks like from them. It does seem like they're thrusting William and Catherine a lot out lately, so I'm curious to see King Charles and Queen Camilla.
Mike, fan of Charles and Camilla? Move on from Andrew. Fan?
In America, King Charles is Charles Barkley, the NBA legend from the 1990s. So that's our king. We're not even thinking about this king. We're glad that you guys got Meghan Markle. Please take her. Why does she keep coming back? We
Well,
don't
no,
understand.
we haven't got her anymore. She's in California playing.
I know, that's the problem. We will invalidate your surrender at Yorktown in 1780 whatever if you will just please take Meghan Markle back. We'd be very happy with that.
So I ask a political commentator about Meghan and Harry, which means I've got to ask Kinsey Schofield tonight. Fulton County Jail, which by the way used to be home to Mike Graham, but that's another story. In Atlanta, Donald Trump, who we all believe will be the Republican nominee, is expected in the next hour and a half to hand himself in. Another indictment, Kins. Some weeks ago he went, indict me again and I'll get there. Where do you... come on. This is a ridiculous thing. You're an American. Of course you are. This is like the best soap opera we could ever ask for in England. It's amazing.
All I can say, the Democratic Party are creating a martyr. Donald Trump will likely be the next president. Otherwise, there's going to be another. You're going to see people take to the streets. It's ridiculous what's going on here, and I think that they're creating a martyr.
It's really interesting because we were talking about that interview on Twitter with Tucker Carlson. 150 million views, Kins. But I mean, that's extraordinary. The man is, as MG says, he's just news, isn't he?
He's not stupid. Why go debate a bunch of losers on a stage? I mean, these are people that can't compete with him to save their lives. It's just, he went and sat down and all eyes were on him. He was the focus. He was the center of attention, which he loves. And with Tucker Carlson, who that's guaranteed he's talking to his base. So I just think that PR-wise, it was a really great move.
Now, listen, you two, I appreciate you being on the show. You don't know this, but I'm coming to the US in October, and I'm expecting... There, she's excited now. So, California and Washington, dinners on both of you. Thank you for being on JK Live.
Did I mention I've got to go? I've got October booked. I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
I got it.
of course you have.
What did you say? I think we lost the connection.
Oh, bye. Yeah.